The Wednesday night before Thanksgiving, I came home from work to find my girlfriend Khloe sitting on the couch with an elegant gift box in her hands. The second she saw me, she tried to hide it behind her back. That little movement immediately caught my attention. "What's that? Who's it from?" I asked, kicking off my shoes. Khloe's eyes darted away. It's a Thanksgiving gift from my boss, Mr. Davis." Davis. I paused. She meant the same Mark Davis she'd always talked about. The one she described as a stand-up guy who really looked out for his team. "Wow, that's nice of him. Giving out holiday gifts to his employees," I said with a smile and walked over to see what was inside. I figured it would be a bottle of whiskey or a fancy cheese basket. "We don't have to open it. It's just something generic," Khloe said, reaching out to stop me. But I'd already picked up the box. It looked expensive. Velvet with a gold embossed logo. Not thinking much of it, I lifted the lid. Everything was nestled in a plush red lining. I reached in to feel what was there. My fingers immediately hit a small hard box. The shape felt familiar. I pulled it out. The moment I read the words on the package, my mind exploded. Condoms. Ultra thin, a well-known brand. Holding the box felt like gripping a red-hot iron. What is this?" My voice trembled as I turned to Khloe. Her face drained of all color. Her eyes were frantic, unable to meet mine. Ignoring her, I looked back into the gift box. Pinned beneath the velvet liner was a folded piece of paper. I snatched it and unfolded it. My eyes stabbed at the words. "I don't want her boyfriend touching you. Don't forget our arrangement." Winky face. The handwriting was an arrogant scrawl, clearly a man's. He'd even drawn a sickening smiley face at the end. A fire raged in my chest. So this was it. The woman I'd given my heart to and the stand-up guy boss she always praised were playing me for a fool, if I let them. What kind of man would I be if I swallowed this? I slapped the note down on the coffee table. My voice boomed. Khloe flinched and tears welled in her eyes. She grabbed my arm, repeating over and over, "It's not what you think, Alex. Please let me explain." "Not what I think." I ripped my arm from her grasp. The heat in my chest burned hotter. We'd been together 3 years. We were supposed to get married next year. I had given her everything, put her first in all things. And this was what I got. She's hooking up with her stand-up guy boss, and she has the audacity to bring this filth into our home. They have an arrangement that says I can't touch her. Will they play me for a fool? They weren't even treating me like a human being. Explain. How are you going to explain this? I pointed at the box of condoms, then at the note. What is this? What's the arrangement between you two? You're going to tell me everything right now. Khloe collapsed onto the sofa, sobbing too hard to form a complete sentence. All she could do was repeat, "It's not what you think." Watching her, the last shred of affection I felt vanished. If I let this go, what kind of man would I be? "You two bastards. Just wait. I'll make you both pay." I stared at Khloe's tear-streaked face. Not a shred of pity, only thick, creeping disgust. I picked up the box of condoms and waved it in front of her face. "Then tell me, what is this? And this note? What kind of secret arrangement do you two have?" My voice grew louder, each word hitting the floor with the force of my rage. Khloe buried her face in her hands, shoulders shaking. After a long moment, she finally spoke through her sobs. "It was Mr. Davis. He forced me." "He forced you?" I laughed, a bitter, hollow sound that almost made me cry. "He said if you didn't agree, he'd transfer you to the branch office in the middle of nowhere. I just got stable in this job. I can't lose it." She looked up at me, eyes pleading, trying to be a victim. Her words made me angrier than anything. "Forced you?" I spat. "Force you to accept this crap? Force you to do that with him? Khloe, do you think I'm a child? We've been together 3 years. If you truly didn't want to do something, could Davis really have forced you? And if you were being coerced, why didn't you tell me? Why wait until you were caught red-handed to play the victim?" "I was afraid you'd be angry," she mumbled, looking down. Afraid I'd be angry? I grabbed her wrist, my grip so tight she cried out in pain. You weren't afraid. I'd be angry when you were messing around with another man. You weren't afraid when you accepted his condoms. When you made your little arrangement with him. Now that I found out, now you're afraid. It's too late. I shoved her hand away. She lost her balance and stumbled to the floor. I had no desire to help her up. She sat there crying even harder. Alex, I know I was wrong. Please, just give me one more chance. I'll never talk to Mr. Davis again. I'll quit right now. Quit. It was far too late for that. And why should I believe her? For all I knew, this was just another act she'd rehearsed with Davis. A chance to save face. I knelt and looked directly into her eyes, my gaze ice cold. From the moment you did that with Davis, from the moment you accepted this gift box, you lost your chance. Khloe froze, stunned by how final I sounded. She opened her mouth to say something else, but I cut her off. Don't say another word. I don't want to hear it. You can sleep in the guest room tonight. Tomorrow, we'll talk about what happens next. With that, I turned and walked into the bedroom and closed the door behind me. The second it clicked shut, I leaned against it and took a deep, shuddering breath. The rage slowly subsided, replaced by a cold, razor-sharp hatred. I didn't believe a single word she'd said. And that bastard Davis wasn't getting away with this. I had a feeling his affair with Khloe was just the tip of the iceberg. A man arrogant enough to send a gift like this was probably preying on other women at the company. I pulled out my phone and opened my contacts, scrolling to a name saved as Jax. Jax was my childhood friend. He was a private investigator now. For something like this, he was perfect. I typed out a text. Hey, I need you to run a check on someone. Mark Davis, General Manager at Innovate Solutions. Focus on his relationships with female employees. I want every detail you can find. Seconds after I hit send, Jax replied, You got it, man. I'll have something for you in 3 days. I put my phone away, eyes narrowing. Just you wait. In 3 days, I was going to drag all your dirty secrets into the light. The next morning, my phone rang just as I was getting out of bed. It was Jax. I figured he had some preliminary findings. I never expected his first words to make my skin crawl. Dude, this Mark Davis guy you wanted me to check out, it's way worse than you think. I was going to take 3 days, but the stuff I dug up last night was too explosive. I had to call you. Jax's voice was buzzing with a grim excitement. My heart started pounding. What's going on? What did you find? This guy runs the office like his own personal kingdom. I tracked his movements for the last year. I can confirm he's having inappropriate relationships with at least 5 of his female subordinates. 5. The glass in my hand nearly slipped to the floor. I thought it was just Khloe. I never imagined there were so many. This wasn't just an office romance. He was treating the company like his own private harem. And I got proof, Jax continued. I have surveillance stills of him taking different employees to hotels, and I got records of money transfers he made to them. Even worse, he's renting a corporate apartment near the office specifically for hooking up with his staff. I had a source pull the access logs. A different female employee has been there almost every weekend. Hearing this, my hand started to shake with rage. How could Davis be so brazen, taking company money to fund his disgusting affairs? Does anyone ever hold him accountable? Hasn't anyone at the company reported him? Report him? Who would dare? Jack scoffed. Davis has been with the company for 10 years. He's got connections all the way to the top. A while back, someone tried to file an anonymous complaint. A few days later, he found a reason to fire her and then blacklisted her throughout the industry. She couldn't find a job anywhere. After that, nobody dared to say a word. So that was it. No wonder Mark Davis was so reckless. He'd made sure no one could challenge him. By the way, man, your girlfriend Khloe is one of 5. Jax's words snapped me back to reality. I found a wire transfer from Davis to Khloe last year for $20,000. He also bought her the new iPhone, and the number of times they went to hotels, It was more than any of the other women. That arrangement you mentioned, it was probably him paying her to keep her distance from you. $20,000. A new phone. I remembered when Khloe suddenly got that new iPhone last year. At the time, she told me it was a prize from the company's end-of-year bonus pool. It was all a lie. I treated her so well, and she was going on dates with another man. She even made a deal with him to not let me touch her. I was blind to have ever been with a woman like her. Jax, get all the evidence together, I said, taking a deep breath to suppress the inferno in my chest, especially about Khloe's part. I want every single detail. No problem, man. I'll package everything up and send it over to you today. Also, I found out Davis is meeting with a major partner next week to negotiate a huge project. If something were to blow up around then, he probably wouldn't be able to keep his job. Jax's words sparked an idea. He was right. I couldn't just let this go. I was going to ruin Mark Davis's career, and I was going to make Khloe pay for her betrayal. After hanging up, I walked out of the bedroom. Khloe was in the kitchen making breakfast. When she saw me, she hurried over, asking timidly, "Alex, did you sleep okay?" Looking at her fake smile filled me with nothing but disgust. "Khloe, we need to talk." I sat down on the couch and pointed to the spot opposite me. "Let's talk about your arrangement with Mark Davis and that $20,000. Khloe's face turned ghostly white. The plate in her hands crashed to the floor, shattering into 100 pieces. She stared at me, her eyes wide with terror as if she couldn't believe I knew. The sound of the breaking plate was deafening in the quiet living room. Khloe stood frozen, her face as pale as a sheet. Seeing her like this, I felt nothing. "What's the matter?" I leaned back on the couch, my tone flat. "Did hearing $20,000 make you nervous?" Her lips trembled. For a long time, she couldn't say a word. Finally, she managed to force out a sentence. I don't know what you're talking about." "You don't know." I pulled out my phone and opened the file Jax had just sent me. It was filled with screenshots of the wire transfer from Davis to Khloe. I tossed the phone onto the coffee table in front of her. "See for yourself. March 15th of last year, Mark Davis wired you $20,000. The very next day, you bought the new iPhone. You told me it was a prize from your company's annual bonus drawing. Khloe, why don't you tell me what that 20 grand was really for?" Khloe picked up the phone, her fingers shaking. As she looked at the transfer record on the screen, the tears started falling again. But this time, I could tell it wasn't out of sorrow. It was fear. He loaned it to me, she stammered, still trying to lie. "He said he had a family emergency and asked me to help him out for a bit. He paid me back later, and that's when I bought the phone." A loan. I almost laughed out loud. That was the lamest excuse I'd ever heard. A general manager needing to borrow money from a regular employee? And if it was a loan, why did he wait a month to pay you back? My friend found that you went to hotels with him more than any of the other women. Was that also a condition of a loan? My words were like knives piercing right through her. She couldn't take it anymore and collapsed to the floor. The phone slipped from her hand, the screen cracking on impact. I was wrong. She finally admitted. "Mr. Davis pressured me. He said if I was with him, he'd give me a raise and help me get promoted. That $20,000, it was my compensation. I wanted to tell you, but I was scared." "Scared? You're saying you were scared now? Where was that fear before? You were scared to tell me, but you weren't scared to go to a hotel with him. You were scared to tell me, but you weren't scared to take his money and make a deal with him. Khloe, you weren't scared. You were greedy. You were greedy for the money he gave you and for the position he promised you." I stood up, looking down at her. "When you were with him, did you ever think about me? Did you ever think about how we were supposed to get married next year?" Khloe was crumpled on the floor, sobbing uncontrollably. I did. I regretted it every single day, but I was already in too deep. I couldn't get out. "There's no such thing. It's just an excuse for your own greed. It's too late to say any of this now." I took out my wallet and pulled out a debit card. There's $20,000 on this card. It's the money I was saving to buy you an engagement ring. Now I'm giving it to you. Consider it settling the debt for what you owe me." Khloe looked up, staring at the card in my hand. Her eyes filled with shock. "Alex, you don't call me Alex. It makes me sick." I cut her off. "From this moment on, we're even. Pack your things and get out of this apartment. And as for Mark Davis, I'm not letting this go. What you two owe me, I'm going to take it all back, piece by piece." Khloe saw the resolve in my eyes and knew I was serious. She didn't beg anymore, just gave a silent, defeated nod. I turned, walked into the bedroom, and shut the door. Leaning against it, I took a deep breath. My score with Khloe was settled. Next up was Mark Davis. I pulled out my phone and sent a text to Jax. "Compile all the evidence. I need the exact time and place of Davis's project meeting with partner next week. This time I'm going to ruin him." Jax replied instantly. "Don't worry, man. It's all taken care of." A cold smile spread across my face as I stared at the screen. "Mark Davis, are you ready for your downfall?" That afternoon, Khloe moved out. My phone rang, an unknown number. I hesitated for a second, then answered. A greasy male voice came through the line, and his first words sent a jolt of anger through me. "This is Khloe's boyfriend, right? This is Mark Davis." He actually had the nerve to call me. I clamped down on my fury and asked coldly, "What do you want?" "Nothing major." He chuckled, his tone dripping with provocation. "Just heard you and Khloe had a falling out. Don't be so hasty, kid. Khloe's a good girl, just a little naive. If you want, I can talk to her for you. Help smooth things over." He said it like his affair with her had nothing to do with me. I barely managed to stop myself from cursing him out. "You seem awfully concerned with my love life, Mr. Davis," I said, drawing out my words. "I just wonder if you have any time to be concerned with your own affairs. Like, for instance, your affairs with 5 of your female employees." The laughter on the other end stopped abruptly. After a few seconds, Davis's tone turned menacing. "What are you talking about?" "I'm not. I just happened to learn about some of your glorious achievements at the office," I interrupted, leaning back in my chair. "Like taking different female employees to hotels, or that apartment you ran on the side. Oh, and right, I've also seen the records of the money you transferred to them." Davis went silent. I could hear his ragged breathing over the phone. After a long pause, he finally spoke. "What do you want?" "I don't want anything," I sneered. "I just wanted to remind you not to get too arrogant. Treating the office like your personal harem, treating your employees like toys. Aren't you afraid that one day all of this will come to light? You think you have some evidence and you can do something to me?" Davis laughed suddenly. "I've been with this company for 10 years. I'm on great terms with the higher-ups. Even if you hand over your evidence, no one will believe you. You'll only end up making trouble for yourself. Kid, I'm advising you to be smart and mind your own business. Otherwise, I'll make sure you can't survive in this city." His threat didn't scare me. It only strengthened my resolve to bring him down. "You seem pretty confident, Mr. Davis, but I think I'll take my chances. Let's see who comes out on top. You, the local emperor, or me, the kid who minds other people's business." With that, I hung up. Immediately after, I texted Jax. "Can you get the contact information for the other women involved with Davis?" Jax replied quickly. "I can, but what do you need it for?" "I want to talk to them," I typed back. "Davis is so arrogant because he thinks no one dares to stand up to him. If I can get all the women he's victimized to come forward together and we submit all the evidence at once, there's no way he can deny it." Jax's reply was instant. "Damn, man. That's a killer move. I'll get on it. We'll have it for you by tonight." Putting my phone down, I stared out the window. A plan was already forming in my mind. Mark Davis thought his connections made him untouchable, but he forgot one thing: you can't hide a fire. As long as I could unite his victims, no matter how powerful his backers were, he would pay the price. That evening, just as promised, Jack sent me a list of 5 contacts. I looked at the names on my screen and took a deep breath. The counterattack was officially beginning. I started by sending a text to one of the women, an employee named Leah. "Hi, I'm Khloe's ex-boyfriend. I know what's been going on with you and Mark Davis. I have evidence that can ruin him. Are you willing to work with me?" After sending the message, I stared at my phone, a knot of anxiety forming in my stomach. I had no idea if she would agree. Just as I was about to give up hope, my phone vibrated. Leah had replied with a single word. Yes. I arranged to meet Leah at a coffee shop. When I arrived, she was already sitting in a corner booth. She stood up nervously when she saw me, her eyes filled with apprehension. I walked over and sat down, getting straight to the point. "Thanks for agreeing to meet me. I know this must be incredibly difficult to talk about." Leah looked down, her fingers clutching her coffee cup. After a few seconds, she slowly raised her head, tears welling in her eyes. "Actually, I wanted to expose him for a long time," she whispered. "But I can't. Mark Davis has something on me." "Something on you?" My stomach dropped. "What is it?" "Last year, during the company health screening, I found out I have a medical condition. I need to be on long-term medication, and I can't overexert myself. Davis found out about it. He used it to threaten me. He said if I didn't do what he wanted, he would tell everyone in the company about my condition and then find a reason to fire me. My family isn't well off and I desperately need this job." I had no choice but to agree. Leah's voice grew quieter and tears streamed down her cheeks. Seeing her like this filled me with a mixture of rage and pity. That bastard Davis was using blackmail to coerce his employees. Has he done anything like this to anyone else? I asked. Leah nodded. "There's Megan. She was a new hire right out of college last year. Davis told her he'd make her a full-time employee if she signed a special agreement. The contract said if she didn't obey him, she wouldn't get paid a dime and would have to compensate the company for damages. And then there's Sarah. She has kids to support. Davis threatened to cut her overtime and dock her pay if she didn't cooperate. We were all trapped. That's how he controlled us." Hearing this, my fist clenched so tightly my knuckles turned white. Mark Davis wasn't just a predator. He was a monster. He used every dirty trick in the book to manipulate his employees, treating them like his personal property. A man like that had to be stopped. "Don't worry. This time I will help you all get justice," I said, looking Leah straight in the eye, my voice firm. "I've already obtained surveillance photos of Davis with all of you, plus his financial records. As long as you're willing to testify, we can submit everything to corporate headquarters and the Department of Labor. No matter how many connections he has, he won't be able to talk his way out of this." A flicker of hope appeared in Leah's eyes, but it quickly faded. "But if we testify, won't he retaliate? We all know what happens to people who turn on him. I'm scared." "Understood," I said. "Davis plays dirty. But this time, we aren't fighting alone. You don't have to worry." I pulled out my phone and showed her my chat history with the other victims. "I've already contacted Megan and Sarah. They've also agreed to help expose him. There's strength in numbers. If we all stick together, he won't dare to come after us individually. Besides, I've already consulted a lawyer friend. With solid evidence, Davis won't just be fired. He could face criminal charges." Leah stared at the screen, and fresh tears streamed down her face. But this time they were tears of relief. "Really?" she asked. "We can really make him pay?" "Absolutely," I nodded. "The day after tomorrow, Davis is meeting with a major partner to discuss a new project," I continued. "We'll make our move then. We'll submit all the evidence and let him fall from his highest point." Leah nodded emphatically. "Okay, I'm with you. I'll testify." Seeing the determination in her eyes, I felt a weight lift from my shoulders. The team was finally assembled. "Mark Davis, your time is up." After leaving the coffee shop, I immediately messaged Jax and my lawyer, telling them to get all the evidence and legal documents ready. The day after tomorrow was Judgment Day. The day of the meeting with the partner arrived. It was being held in the main conference room at Innovate Solutions. I arranged to meet Leah, Megan, and Sarah beforehand. We agreed to wait until Davis was at the most critical point in his negotiation before we made our move. At exactly 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I stood outside the conference room door. From inside, I could hear Davis's smug voice. "Mr. Peterson, you can rest assured. If you give this project to our company, you won't have any problems. I've already assigned my most professional team to ensure it's completed on schedule." I sneered to myself. His most professional team? More like he turned every woman on that team into his personal mistress. I gave Leah and the others a signal, then pushed the conference room door wide open. "Having a good meeting, Mr. Davis?" I asked, walking in slowly, a thick file of evidence in my hand. When Davis saw me, his face changed instantly. The partner, Mr. Peterson, looked up too, clearly confused. "How did you get in here?" "Security." "Where's security?" Davis shot up from his chair, pointing at me and shouting. "Don't bother," I said calmly, tossing the file onto the conference table. "I've already sent security on a break. I'm here today to have a little chat with Mr. Peterson. A chat about your distinguished career here." Mr. Peterson frowned and turned toward Davis. "Mark, what's going on?" Davis rushed over, trying to snatch the file. "Mr. Peterson, don't listen to him. He's a lunatic just here to cause trouble." "Whether I'm lying or not, you'll know once you see the evidence," I said, blocking Davis and handing the file to Mr. Peterson. "These are surveillance photos of Mr. Davis taking various female subordinates to hotels. These are his bank transfer records. And this," I pointed to the last page, "is the lease for an apartment he rents for his private meetings." Mr. Peterson flipped through the documents. The more he read, the darker his expression became. Davis stood beside him, sweat dripping from his forehead. "Mr. Peterson, it's all fake. He forged it." Davis was still trying to deny everything. "Fake." Leah suddenly stepped forward, her eyes blazing with anger. "Mr. Davis, have you forgotten what you said to me after my health screening last year? You told me if I didn't sleep with you, you'd tell the entire company about my condition." Megan spoke next. "And me. You used a full-time contract to threaten me, forcing me to sign your special agreement. You said if I didn't obey, I wouldn't get paid a single cent." Finally, Sarah stepped forward, her voice trembling but firm. "Mark Davis, you threatened me too. You said if I didn't cooperate, you'd cut my pay and stop my overtime. We were all coerced by you." Their testimonies hit Davis like a sledgehammer. He staggered back, his face turning ashen. Mr. Peterson slammed the file down on the table with a sharp crack. "Mark, you've got some nerve pulling this kind of disgusting crap in your own company. And you still dare to pitch me a project? You really think I'd partner with a man of your character?" Davis scrambled forward, trying to grab Mr. Peterson's arm. "Mr. Peterson, please give me another chance. I know I was wrong." Mr. Peterson yanked his arm away in disgust. "A chance? A man like you doesn't deserve one. This project is off, and our companies will have no future collaborations." With that, Mr. Peterson and his team stormed out, giving Davis one last withering glare before leaving. The conference room fell silent. Davis collapsed into his chair, his eyes vacant. I walked over and looked down at him. "How does it feel, Mr. Davis? Weren't you so arrogant? Didn't you think no one could touch you? Now your project is gone. Your dirty laundry is aired out for everyone to see. How long do you think you'll be keeping that general manager title?" Davis looked up, his eyes filled with pure hatred. "This is all your fault. I'll get you for this. You'll see. I'll get my revenge." I laughed coldly. "You should probably worry about how you're going to explain this to corporate headquarters. Oh, and about the coercion, we've already filed a police report. What's waiting for you isn't just losing your job, it's the law." At the mention of the police, Davis completely broke down. He slumped over the table and let out a desperate, guttural sob. He deserved every bit of it. Just then, the conference room door swung open again. Two police officers walked in, followed by an executive from corporate headquarters. When Davis saw the police, he began trembling uncontrollably. What are you doing? The officers didn't waste any time. One pulled out a pair of handcuffs. Mark Davis, you're being investigated on suspicion of coercion and embezzlement. Please come with us. No, I didn't do it. You've got the wrong person. Davis tried to resist, but an officer had already grabbed his wrist, and with a sharp click, the handcuffs locked around him. As they led him out, he looked back and glared at me. I won't let you get away with this. I will get my revenge. I just scoffed. He couldn't even save himself, and he was still thinking about revenge. Pathetic. The corporate executive walked over to me and extended his hand. Sir, thank you. Without you, we would have never known about the rot hiding in our company. We've already decided to terminate Mark Davis effective immediately. We will also conduct a full internal review to ensure nothing like this ever happens again. I shook his hand. It was the right thing to do. I just hope you'll pay more attention to your employees' well-being in the future, so a tragedy like this doesn't repeat itself. The executive nodded, then spoke with Leah and the others, promising them proper compensation and protection. With everything settled, I walked out of the Innovate Solutions building. As soon as I stepped outside, I saw a familiar figure. It was Khloe. She spotted me and rushed over, her eyes filled with desperation. Alex, I heard Mark Davis was arrested. Can you please talk to the police for me? Tell them not to involve me. I know I was wrong. I'll never do it again. Can we please start over? Looking at her, all I felt was disgust. When she was with Davis, did she ever think this day would come? Now that he was in trouble, she came running back to me for help. Khloe, we're done, I said, stepping back to put distance between us. What happened between you and Davis has nothing to do with me. As for whether the police will come looking for you, that depends on whether you broke the law. I won't help you and I can't. Tears streamed down her face. Alex, can you really be this cruel? We were together for 3 years. Don't you have any feelings left for me? Feelings? I laughed bitterly. Whatever feelings I had for you died the moment you accepted that box of condoms and made your little arrangement with him. It's too late for this, Khloe. With that, I turned and walked away without a single glance back. I could hear her crying my name behind me, but I had no desire to stop. A week later, Jack sent me an update. Mark Davis had been sentenced to 3 years in prison for coercion and embezzlement of company funds. It turned out some of the money he'd wired to his victims had come directly from a corporate account. Leah and the other women received compensation from the company and had all found new jobs. Everything was moving in the right direction. One afternoon, I stood on my balcony, the warmth of the sun on my face. A sense of profound relief washed over me. All the anger and hurt from the past few weeks had finally faded away. I hadn't lost myself in revenge. Instead, I had helped others who were victimized just like me. Looking back, that Thanksgiving gift box, as painful as it was, had been a blessing in disguise. It revealed the true colors of the person I thought I loved. It taught me to stand up for myself and for others. My phone rang. It was Jack's. Want to grab a beer? I smiled and accepted. Hanging up, I grabbed my jacket and headed out the door. The sunlight felt warm and bright on my skin. The past was behind me. My new life was just beginning. The people who hurt me had paid their price. And I would carry this newfound courage and clarity with me as I moved forward. The future was going to be